soon, so please take your seats or find a seat. I think I can see some seats in the middle. It looks like we have a full house, but I think there's some empty seats, especially in the middle rows. So thank you so much, especially for our media colleagues for joining us this afternoon. I think for one of a kind joint media briefing and engagement that we will be undertaking today. Before we begin, I would just kindly ask that the partners that will be reading the statement take their seats on the front table. Thank you. Okay, thank you very much. So we'll just breeze through. What I would do is, I know we're a lot, but I would still suggest that we do short introductions, maybe name and organization, so that we have an idea of who is in the room. I think each table at least has one mic, so this should be fairly easy. Could we start with this side? Sorry, Mr. Dan. But just quickly, if everyone can just
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mutinda Hadenka. I'm Communications Officer at the Zambia ALL.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Akaire. I'm representing commercial media.
It's Chief Security Japan. We got it. Welcome to Zambia.
My girl Francis, Zambia 24. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Akali. I'm from Kenya. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Daniel Sanchi from Facebook. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Andrew from Council. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Esther from Library. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Esther from
Helen Chishamuti. Gracia Imbole Tabisha Chutney.
Malangi Zombara, very short. Anika Landamasi. My name is Jordan Tara from the Massive.
Okay. Last two. Let's start with the one who's that. Introduction,
Good afternoon. I am from Spice and
There's actually a line. You can switch it on the paper.
Sorry, Messi Kasongo from Pakistan.
Martin from TBN Zambia. My name is Graham Ginger from Zambia.
Good afternoon, I'm Ms. Rafika from Mashinisa. Good afternoon, I'm Commissioner from Public Safety. Good afternoon, Salva Sechi from Public TV.
Okay, I believe everyone, at least the journalists have introduced themselves. My name is Tamika Habibi, I'm from Transparency International Zambia. I will also ask colleagues on the table in front, I don't call it the high table, to introduce themselves and their organizations, names, organizations, and positions. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Federation from Transparency International Zambia.
Good afternoon,
have been published to date. Thank you very much. Thank you, Matinda, and indeed thank you to the Zambia Extractive Industry Transparency Initiative Secretariat, who supports all stakeholders that constitute the coalition, that's mining companies, government, and as Matinda mentioned, she said this is the 14th report that is being released. I don't know, media colleagues, if you've ever heard of the Zambia EITI or the reports that they release, but just to mention that if there's any information, validated information that you need in terms of revenue, whatever data, exports, these are the reports that media, as colleagues, you can make reference to. So without much further ado, I would encourage you to be attentive. We will have a question and answer session after the reading of the statement where you can ask questions based on the statement that will be read. So colleagues, I invite your attention, even as I invite colleagues from the table in front to read the joint statement prepared for the meeting today.
Thank you, colleagues from the media, and thank you to Mika as well. We would like to appreciate you for joining us. I think just before we go straight into the reading of the statement, it's important for us to clarify why we're doing an analysis of a report produced in 2021 while we are in 2023, and I'll just run back to Tamika so she can give that clarification before we go into the statement. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Daisy. So please do note that even though the report is 2021, some of the information obtained for that report is as early as this year, 2023. But also, I think the way that the Zambia EITI labels its report is based on the previous report, the last year in which they did the report. So they did a report in 2020, and so in terms of series-wise, the next report is 2021, which was released this year in April, and does include information from early this year in the report. So it's still very much a relevant report that should be referred to. I do hope that clarifies for the media. Thank you.
Good afternoon again. This is a joint statement on the 2021 Zambia Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative report and mining governance in Zambia. Just a brief background on what Publish What You Pay is. So Publish What You Pay is a collision of civil society organizations working in extractive, which coordinated over 10 civil society organizations in analyzing the 14th report by the Zambia Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative covering the financial year 2021. Being a globally recognized initiative, the EITI promotes good governance in the management of natural resources such as oil, gas, and minerals. The EITI seeks to address governance bottlenecks as well as challenges in the extractive sector. Zambia, having agreed to the EITI, has been producing periodic extractive industry reports as is required for countries implementing the EITI standard. In analyzing the ZEITI report as CSO, what we sought to do is to, one, increase public discussion and debate pertaining to the Zambia Extractive Industry Transparency report's findings and other related governance issues in the mining sector. And secondly, to provide recommendations based on the Zambia EITI report findings, which would contribute to the governance of the mining sector in Zambia. In line with this analysis, CSOs would therefore like to highlight to the public the key thematic observations as well as recommendations from our analysis of the 2021 ZEITI report regarding mining sector performance. You may wish to note at this point that the recommendations for the purpose of this meeting are not exhaustive, but reflective of the salient issues that will be shared as CSOs in the report.
Continuing, look at disclosure of revenues and the sector's contribution to the economy. Just to start by highlighting that the PRTI from the 14 companies whose revenue comprise of over 90% of the revenue generated from mining companies. Extractive revenues collected by the government in 2021 amounted to about 86 billion. The report attributed improved compliance with tax payments to the increased gross revenue from the mining sector. The report also shows that the mining sector has continued to be the largest contributor to the country's export earnings, contributing 77% in 2021. The sector has also continued to be a critical source of government revenue, accounting for 89% of total government revenue in 2021. Despite these positive trends, we noted that the sector's contribution to gross domestic product (GDP) decreased by 1% from 11% in 2020 to 10% in 2021. Additionally, contributions to exports decreased by 2% from 79% in 2020 to 77% in 2021. However, the report showed that the mining sector's contribution to employment has stagnated at 2%, which underscores the need for discussion and intervention on how the sector can contribute to employment creation, both directly and indirectly. We recommend increasing the budget allocation to Ministry of Mines at least 1% in the 2024 national budget, given the sector's economic significance. Number 4, enhance transparency. It is critical that relevant information regarding investment portfolios and shareholding units the Industrial Development Corporation (IDC) and the Zambia Consolidated Social Mining Investment Holding as well.
license for disclosure of gender employment data for the 14 mining companies sampled, which included FQML Trident, Carbon Mining Limited, Luwana Mining, Konkola Copper Mines PLC, as well as Zambia Copper Mine. However, we also noted that employment data disclosed by gender was not complete for almost all the companies, and in some cases there was no data at all that was disclosed by companies, and some of which include NFC Africa Mining PLC, as well as Zambia Consolidated Copper Mines Investment Holdings, this is CMIH. Further, the data disclosed was not segregated by hierarchy or position in the companies, and this limited further analysis of the data that was disclosed from gender. So probably that of the steps made in this regard, with regards to disclosures on gender, would like to recommend improved reporting specifically for gender data to be segregated by hierarchy or positions. In the case of employment data, such gender disclosure data is more useful for our analysis, but also for the purpose of gender inclusion in the EIC.
With regards to disclosure of licenses and contracts, as CSOs we noted the increase in active mining licenses from 3,570 in 2020 to 4,303 in 2021. Markedly, small-scale exploration licenses increased by 2,158%, seemingly as a result of commercialization efforts of the artisanal and small-scale mining sector. It is also worth mentioning that the report disclosed 9 petroleum exploration licenses, with 7 reported as active, 1 under litigation, and 1 pending renewal. The 2021 ZEITI report also shows that the stage 2 CCMRIH has ownership rights in 3 of the active petroleum exploration licenses. In light of the disclosed information, the report does not provide annexed detailed list of active mining licenses or mining rights. Also noteworthy is the absence of the letter of obligation from the licensing process, considering the corruption allegations in mining license issuance that coincide with the report and the reporting period. We therefore propose that Ministry of Mine and Energy makes strides in ensuring systematic disclosure of information on licenses, including updating the online mining cadastre to ensure that it is more user-friendly to the public. Further, as the Ministry of Mine progresses towards systematic disclosure, ZEITI should provide comprehensive annexes for the license disclosure, as was done in the previous reports, specifically the 2019 report. With regard to disclosure of beneficial ownership information, as CSOs, we acknowledge the progress made specifically by the Patents and Companies Registration Agency in the implementation of beneficial ownership reforms, which were well highlighted in the report. However, the report does not disclose beneficial ownership information for the sample of mining companies, as was done in the previous report earlier on the 2017 report. Further, we have reviewed that the report would be more useful if compliance of beneficial ownership disclosure by mining companies to background would be reported. Could be reported by license type to assess general compliance levels of the sector against the EITI standard. We therefore recommend that ZEITI and the Zambia EITI Council issue a memorandum of understanding with backup for the purpose of accessing beneficial ownership information at no charge for EITI reporting purposes. This collaboration will mainstream the process and facilitate the provision of accurate and up-to-date information.
So colleagues, now we share information on the disclosures on state participation. Acknowledging the significance of the state's participation in the sector in Zambia, the report provides valuable information on the current legal framework related to state participation in Zambia, particularly through ZCCMIH. It outlines ZCCMIH's shareholding in mining and oil companies, indicating ownership in 23 such entities. The report also highlights significant developments, including the acquisition of a shareholding in Mupani copper mines, the Konkola copper mine, transaction, the royalty agreement with Kansanshi Mining, and intergovernmental agreements with the Democratic Republic of Congo and the USA concerning copper production and value addition. However, we CSOs note that ZCCMIH has not disclosed its audited financial statements for the year ended 2021, while no annual reports for 2020 and 2022 have been published. It is important to consider critical contextual factors surrounding state participation. These include the need for transparency, accountability, and sound management practices in state-owned entities like ZCCMIH. Given that the success of state participation is closely linked to effective corporate governance, particularly in the case of ZCCMIH, which has first timers in managing assets, such as its gold investments in Zambia Gold Company. It is also worth mentioning that ZCCMIH suspension from the London Stock Exchange and Euronext in 2023 has impacted its operations and perceptions about its corporate governance. In this regard, addressing the gaps in ZCCMIH's financial disclosure and publishing annual reports is essential for enhancing transparency and fostering confidence in state participation initiatives. Additionally, strengthening corporate governance practices within ZCCMIH is crucial to effectively manage assets and maximize the benefits of state participation in the mining and oil sectors. Measures should be taken to address the reasons behind the ZCCMIH suspension from the stock exchanges and ensure compliance with the regulatory requirements. We have these recommendations as CSOs. Number one, that the Zambia EITI should continue reporting comprehensively on state participation in the extractive industries, considering the pronouncements and policies aimed at increasing state involvement. This will provide valuable insights and promote transparency in this crucial area relating to state participation. Second, ZCCMIH should prioritize the publication of annual reports for the years 2020 and 2021. These reports, needless to say, are essential for providing stakeholders with updated and comprehensive information on the activities, financial performance, and governance of ZCCMIH. We draw your attention, ladies and gentlemen, to disclosures of social payments and investments. Colleagues, there are currently no legal or contractual provisions for mandatory social payments in Zambia. However, voluntary social payments were included in the 2021 EITI scope through unilateral disclosure by mining companies. In this regard, there was an observed drastic reduction in social payments between 2020 and 2021, with firms such as Kalumvila, Kajal, and ZCCMI reporting to have not made any payments in their reporting year. Acknowledging that social payments in the mining sector have provided communities with benefits through both in-kind and cash payments as part of corporate social responsibility initiatives, we recommend the review of policies and legislation to effectively ensure mining companies invest in strategic areas of communities hosting mining projects. This will be significant in ensuring communities receive some compensation for the extraction activities taking place in their areas. Additionally, we recommend that social investment plans be aligned with district integrated development plans, the IDPs, to ensure that these investments significantly contribute to sustainable development.
Now we look at disclosures of the Environmental Protection Fund. In consideration that contributions to the Environmental Protection Fund are reliant on environmental audits conducted by mining firms and environmental activities caused by mining activity like each mine and caused by the Director of Mine Safety. The 2021 EITI disclosure of payments discloses that payments to the Environmental Protection Fund (EPF) by mining companies amounted to less than 1 million or 300,000 in 2021. However, this signifies a reduction in payments to the EPF as Environmental Protection Fund from 51 million in 2020 to less than a million in 2021. In the absence of reason for the substantial decline, the reduction raises questions about whether all companies have made their required payments to the fund, or if payments reflect environmental costs as per audits. Therefore, to strengthen disclosure in this regard, we recommend that key information such as funds held in the Environmental Protection Fund account, interest gained on the funds, expenses made using the fund, and details of the company's report of payment should also be disclosed. These disclosures will align with the requirements of the new 2023 EITI standard regarding environmental expenditure reporting. In conclusion, civil society organizations acknowledge the efforts being made by government and other actors, including through the EITI, to enhance governance in the sector. The 2021 EITI report provides valuable contribution to the ongoing efforts to engender transparency and accountability in the sector. With these observations and recommendations, it is our desired intention that measures and progress continues to be made in improving the governance of the extractive sector in Zambia.
Thank you so much, the high people, for the reading of that statement, and thank you, media colleagues. Indeed, our analysis is really a summary of the full report, which is over 100 pages long. And so if you do want to refer to the full report, please note that it's available for download on the Zambia Extractive Industry Transparency Initiative website. We can provide you that information after this engagement. We also note that our summary covers a lot of themes because as civil society organizations in extractives, we focus on different themes in our work. But collectively, we do cover the entire mining sector or extractives as we have it. So we've given you just really a taste or a flavor of what the report highlights on the revenue side, on the gender side, aspects to do with licensing, beneficial ownership disclosure, issues to do with states' participation in mining, social investments, or what we normally call as corporate social responsibility, as well as issues to do with the Environmental Protection Fund. And so for the remaining time that we are here, I think we'll dedicate it to our interactions with you as the media. We will now invite for any questions or comments based on our statement here today. I think I can take 3 questions at a go. Please do introduce yourself again for the sake of the high table's response before you ask your question. Do you have any questions? Okay, so I see that. Is there a third? Okay, I see that. We can proceed with the 3. Yes, ma'am, please go ahead.
Thank you. My name is Jason Boyer from TV. So, last week the Bank of Zambia did highlight say that they're expecting a lower GDP this year due to lack of more revenue coming from the mine. Now, you've given us a report that's almost 2 years ago, and according to the Bank of Zambia, they're hoping that 2024 and 2024 and 2025 GDP should improve after the issues in the mine sector have been solved. So I don't know if it is possible for you to be able to project the possibility of mine sector being able to have to contribute to a higher GDP in the next year and the other 8 years, looking at the report that you've given us this year.
And then I had a
Yeah, I'm going I write for Zambia Reform. I noticed the report is supposed to be for 2021, but some of the information covers activities that are currently taking place. So I need some kind of clarification. Which one do you get? Are you focusing on this one or the previous one?
There was a question in the back. Was there a hand at the back? Oh, yeah, just find the mic. Thank you.
Good afternoon once again. I'm Oscar Nkua, a freelance journalist. I'm deeply concerned about Madam there indicated that they on the disclosure of gender levels on employment levels in these mining companies. Have you taken time to investigate on what role women can play in as far as the mining sector is concerned in this country? And secondly, moved to the state participation in shareholding as in percentages. From what I understand, I don't know, I stand to be corrected here. ZCCM shareholding in these mining companies is about 20%. As civil society organizations have you taken time to engage with the relevant authorities on how best we can improve on the shareholding percentages? And the other one is on the report for the decline in the mining sector's contribution, especially to the Bank of Zambia. There's been a decline in as far as the mining sector has been contributing in monetary terms to the Bank of Zambia. Has it come to your attention that graphically from the Bank of Zambia's perspective, it has been declining, say from 2022 going into 2023? Have you taken time to look into that and engage the relevant authorities on that? Thank you.
Okay, thank you for those questions. I'll just provide a brief intervention, Mr. Mainga, on the timing of the report and meet your colleagues. So the report indicates that it's the 2021 report, but it does include information from 2022 because whilst the report is in 2021, some information was still being collected in 2022. So in the introduction of the report, it explains that. So just to assure that the report is not outdated, even though it says 2021, it's just a sequencing issue from the 2020 report to the 2021, but the report does include information from 2022. For instance, on state participation, some of the information is actually from 2022. I do hope that clarifies. Tita, do you want to? Okay, let me ask the owners to clarify further. Thanks, Tita.
Maybe to just add on to the explanation that has been given by Tamika, the EITI reports, specifically on revenue, depend on audited financial statements. So audits, as you may be aware, have a timeline. So because the information needs to be verified and validated by both reporting entities from the government and mining companies, audited financial statements usually are a year apart. For example, right now, there are currently no audited financial statements for 2022 that have been put out in public domain. As soon as those are out, we will be able to produce the 2022 report. Thank you.
Thanks, Mutenta, for that clarification on the revenue and export data that needs to be validated. But other information, for instance, state participation, some of this is from the year 2022, which was last year. So now over to the other questions. We've had a question on revenue issues and declining contribution to GDP of mining, issues to do with gender, and a question around state participation. I'm not sure how, do I go from my, this my right? Okay. I think we can start with 300 pages and some. Please try to attempt all the questions or the questions you can address. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll restrict myself to questions that relate to what we do as PIP. I think there is only one question. There was a question on gender, and the Oscar seems to be suggesting that women should not participate in mining activities in terms of employment. I hope I got you correct. Yeah, but I think the conversation around gender should be broadened. I think what we need to interrogate are aspects that will enable everyone to participate in economic activity, including employment. And if that is a starting point, we start asking ourselves in the mining value chain, what is it that happens that can be effectively done by males and females? And we go ahead and create mechanisms and systems or processes that will actually actualize everyone's participation in the mining sector. I think gender is an issue not only in the mining sector, but everywhere. And I think we need to escalate this conversation, not only for civil society organizations, but also government, to show their commitments to ensuring that we create an enabling environment for everyone to participate in economic activities, including employment. There was a question around state participation. And the question, if I got it correctly, again, Oscar was asking whether government stake in investing in the mining sector is enough. It's a controversial question. I mean, right now we are operating an economy that is heavily free market economy. I'm not an economist, but I understand a little bit about it. The idea is to ensure that government has little or no business in business. But also you want to understand that the state has a responsibility to protect the citizens through being interested and participating in economic activities. So it's a very delicate issue, but I think that we need to have a clear position as a government. Are we purely and therefore we want the market to run itself, or we want to participate harvesting for the sake of protecting the citizens in terms of some of the externalities from the economic activities that are happening. But all those things have to be open, because I think we are pushing as an organization, for example, we've been pushing for open government way of operating, where citizens have access to information about what is happening. That way they effectively engage government and constructively provide alternatives or provide suggestions to government to improve for their sake as citizens. Maybe let me end there.
So I think I'll just like to add a bit more on what is already spoken about on gender. So I think it's important for us to also note that in the 2023 EITI standard, it's now a requirement for companies as well as the Zambia EITI to make disclosures on gender. Why is this important? I think you can see from the statement that we read, one of the observations is that the data that's disclosed in gender is not actually being disaggregated in terms of hierarchy. It's important for us to know the level of participation by women in the extractive industries, not only for their own economic emancipation, but also for the beneficiation of the country as well. So I think it's important for us to begin to have conversations about gender mainstreaming. How are we ensuring that our policies are gender responsive? We know that women have peculiar circumstances that may make them able to participate compared to men. So how are we ensuring that the sector is actually set up in such a way that it allows for female participation? How are we ensuring that we're doing gender impact assessments as we're doing these policies? How are we mainstreaming gender, and how are we ensuring that actually the policies that are putting up for the industry are gender responsive? For us to be able to make further recommendations or burden the level of recommendations that we give, we need to be able to address the bottlenecks. But those bottlenecks can only be addressed if we actually know what they are, if the data is disclosed, if we're able to see to what extent or to what level are women participating. That would give us more information to actually work with and play around with. Thank you so much for that question.
I'll try to the question around the GDP. Yes, I think the question is in the mining sector contributes to higher GDP. I think given the potential of the sector, it's very much possible. But there are a number of things that we think government needs to expedite or introduce or do to ensure that that is attainable. So, for example, we are aware that government is saying that in the next 9 years, they want to enhance the production in terms of looking at maybe 3 million tons production from the mining sector in the next 9 years. I think our production average is maybe between 700,000 metric tons to about 850 per year. But I think there is this strategy that government is working on, which the Minister of Mines informed us, which is good. And we believe that we hope to see that process is effected accordingly, because if we produce 3 million tons over the next 9 years, and given the demand of some metals going like, we are able to attract more revenue, which means a growth in our GDP. The other thing also, we need to unlock some of the assets that we have. So for example, we are aware of the issue around SCM, and we are hoping that as we heard that among almost all the issues have been resolved with the investor, maybe 1 or 2 principal issues are remain. So we hope that the government can expedite that process so that we unlock these assets to full capacity, and we'll be able to generate more revenue. The other issue for this is the issue of the critical minerals. I think we are all aware of some of these minerals, lithium and others, and you agree with our observation that we seem to be a bit slow as a country to ensure that we exploit these resources to potential. Yes, we are doing maybe technological mapping here there, but maybe we need to up our game so that that process can be done urgently. Because the challenge is, as we are doing that, we know there's some irregularities happening, and there are others who are maybe corporate elites and others seem to benefit while we are delaying, but they are putting those irregularities. So all these factors that I've mentioned, if we put them together and ensure that we work on them urgently as a country, I think we are able to increase our contribution from the sector. I think I will end here.
Thanks. So the state participation question, and colleague Raymond made reference to it, but maybe to add to the question and invite your reflections on the interaction and the relationships. So in there you are talking about the IDC, in there you are talking about ZCM itself, and you are talking about the Ministry of Finance. I'm not sure if we're talking about another executive in some way. So when we want to unlock state participation, we need to unpack the interaction and the role that each of these institutions are playing. Because when you do a critical analysis, you will discover that maybe we're where we are because we designed to be like this. Yeah, that's what I can say for now. ZCMI is a public institution that is on public facing. And it's a bit of a conundrum, it's a bit of a confusion, right? That you who should have shares in this ZCMI, and I'm not sure if you like you have shares in this ZCMI. Yeah. So the issues of state participation should be very close to your hearts, the hearts of the Zambians, because we need to be asking questions. Critical questions. Thank
you. Sama, can you add to, sorry to put you on the spot, would you be able to add to the observation or is it concerns about the declining trend in revenue? What is the protection of civil society, given where we are with the 2021 rule and government's aspiration? I don't know if you can touch a little bit of that.
Well, I'll just repeat the statement that we're where we are because that's where we went. We need to up our expectations of ourselves as a country if we are going to increase the revenue. It happens at a personal level, right? If you are operating at 10 kwacha, it is difficult to raise more than 10 kwacha. And if you desire to earn more, you set an upper limit. I want to earn 1 million. And in the process, you devise mechanisms, strategies, interventions that contribute towards attainment of that figure. So if Zambia is not earning as much money as it ought to, maybe Zambia doesn't require that much money. And Zambia is not the government, Zambia is you. How much expectations do we have of our government? How much are we asking questions? Why are we only raising this much? Isn't it possible to raise more? So then we talk about the taxation framework. Or maybe the taxation framework is okay. Maybe it's the way it is being executed. Who is collecting where? So we talk about illicit financial flows, tax evasions, and so on and so forth. So beginning as a people to get interested and get involved in the conversations. Then we can earn more. Otherwise, we are happy with the little that we're getting.
Okay, thank you. With that, I think we can do another round of questions. Looking at the time, this will be the last round of questions. Do we have any other questions from the audience?
I can push him to the wall.
Okay, so there's a question there. Any other takers? Okay, so we can have your questions, sir.
Yeah, so my question is, I'm the expert in the room. Your name? Oh, I wear so many hats.
It will take the whole year to introduce myself. But to cut a long story short, I'm commenting and I report for the Rainbow newspaper. So the elephant in the room, which group is failing to address, is the nationalization of the mining sector, because we have failed to realize benefits from this so-called hybrid environmental group. Government wanting to still participate in the mining sector through the CCMIA and ITC, and the notion of a free market environment. So why is it that you are scared to? Is it because the ones that finance you are the ones that actually reap out of Zambia? Why are you not going that way? Nationalization of the mines. That's the only time when Zambia's mining sector flourished was during Kenneth David Buttigieg Kaunda's unique era, when the mining sector was fully the backbone of our economy. But now, the mines have been sold, given away for a song.
Ada.
Yes,
Jean Mandela reference.
So
When
just think of this.
Thank you. When are you like to tell me next report? Thank you.
Okay, is that good? Any other takers going once, twice, thrice? Okay, I see Sama is prepared. I don't know if, I think Sama can start with taking a bite and then we'll come down. So, yeah, Sama.
Secondly, it's not correct that there is only one way. There's the argument on how the sector was performing then and now. My own view is that when you look at poverty levels, obviously we're not making the most out of mineral resources. I don't think anyone can argue that. But is the solution through nationalization only? Are there other avenues that we can explore? What is the gap? Where are the challenges of the challenges? I leave it here for my colleagues. Yeah.
Yes, I think an interesting issue. And just to say that I think we may not be funded or supported by but just to say that I think building on what somebody say, I think the issue really is how do we want to raise more revenue. But the issue is whether we say do it ourselves or we go in with others. The question is how best are we ensuring that we meet the all the actual elements, and that's when we can, that's what our person there. That's when we can make and back. And the meantime, for example, while we still have this to approach, why are we also saying that like
that we need to look at, because these resources are our resources. So even when we negotiate, the issue is if you have the resources are yours by the end of the day. So I think these are things that we really need to look at it holistically. But otherwise, it's very difficult to say red or blue until I think when we have all the actual elements, then that decision can be made. But even in the current context, how can we best maximize from the resources that we have? I think that's the critical question that we need to address.
Thank you. Firstly, I think we did our address when the next EITR report will be out, but from what we know is that it's currently being worked on. Just a disclaimer, like this one as well, of course, we're not being funded by who owns what. Also, I'm quite at least for sure of that. So in terms of the nationalization or nationalization debate, I'm not sure I really want to comment on that, but I think what I would like to say is there's a way of benefiting from our mines without nationalization. I think we need to address other critical components like tax evasion, illicit financial flows, corruption, and all the
various issues that are making us go to nationalization as a country. I think there are a lot of other countries out there that are benefiting from their mines. We have the DPC in a way, maybe it's not enough, it's not according to our aspiration. So we need to address all these different issues, because even if we say today, and don't get me wrong, I'm not advocating for nationalization or the lack thereof, but even if we say to nationalize our mines today, as long as we don't address the very issues that lead to us not benefiting, we're still going to keep going back in circles. So I think that we should think about more from how do we address these barriers in different components. Legal progress, how are we ensuring that barriers in all different aspects?
Maybe just to join my colleague, if our donors are heavily involved in these activities, are not aware of that. At least those that fund us are very clear. There are no strings attached. We speak as a stakeholder. And now the question you are asking is to agree with my colleague. You can't look at matters of importance and of this nature from an ideological perspective. Things are changing. I think the question we ask ourselves is the mining sector linked to other sectors in the country? If yes, why do you want to focus on the mining sector and nationalize activities in the mining sector? How do they interface with other sectors? Like any other organization, I think the starting point should be a small organization. They start by doing a strategic plan. The strategic plan will give you a clear picture of what is obtaining on the ground, and you find the best fit as an organization. I think as a country, maybe let's delay the conversation around whether we should nationalize or not. First of all, we start by asking ourselves, and I agree with you, what do we want to see ourselves as a country economically? What does it take for us to reach where we want to be? What do we need to do in the short term, medium term, and long term? That way we'll understand how the different sectors contribute to economic development, how they feed in each other, how they feed off each other, and how citizens organize. That way we have a comprehensive economic recovery and development plan that takes everyone on board. This idea of piecemeal arrangements, you see, the constitution will still have the question because we want fast things. I remember some time back, you could buy a pair of stockings to be worn just one day. At the end of the day, it's finished. Is that what you want to have? I think we should be pushing towards deep and critical thinking. We should be pushing towards what do we want as a country economically. what is the architecture of whatever is pertaining in terms of economic activity? Is it sufficient to deliver us where we want? Then we'll answer your question, Mr. Sindela, whether nationalization is a way, or maybe it's not the way. But like Kadina said, you know the things that have happened from 1970s, in the 1970s and now, that may not warrant what Kaunda did. It was appropriate then, it may not be appropriate now, but we don't have the data for us to answer and agree to say, yes, we need to nationalize. Like I said, we need to go to the drawing board and ask ourselves critical questions that will make us understand where we're supposed to be, what it takes to be there, when we can respond to that question.
Okay, thank you very much, colleagues. On the issue of when the next Zambia Extractive Industry Transparency Initiative report will be available, I am informed by our colleagues from ZPITI that the expected release date is December 2023, and that will be the 2022 report, and it will have validated and audited statement with regards to revenue contribution to gross domestic product and exports. So I think by the end of the year, we should get an indication of where we are with regards to the sector, mining sector's contribution to the economy. And we'll be able to see a trend whether really we will achieve what we aspire to. We've come to the end of our press meeting, but I will allow concluding remarks, very brief, very short. I think just to reiterate whatever points from the statement and also from the president. So I will start with Mr. Shkwana. Sam, concluding remarks. Thank you.
I would like to invite you all to ZAMI for the conversations to improve governance in the mining sector continues, and we are gathering from tomorrow and Wednesday so that we can together find perfect fits that will help us benefit from the natural resources. Thank you.
Yeah, it is just to echo what you have said, that I think all of us as stakeholders, we need to continue asking the necessary questions that Mr. Sama said. And recommend that even new colleagues in the media, let's all together hold up with accountable. We are aware there are many things that have to do with the mines. There's the issue of this individual returns in the next 9 years. There's the issue of critical minerals. There are so many issues in the mining sector. So I'll just encourage the rest to continue working down with accountable and following up on those issues.
Thank you. I think first and foremost, I would like to thank all of you for coming, and also just to all of us to continue to share ourselves with the EITI report. At least they're there on the website, so we can be able to help, especially us from the media, can be able to help unpack some of this report, ask the necessary questions that the public can get solutions to that information, and utilize it for asking questions as well as that of participants.
Just to thank the media, I think we put together on the number of issues platform. Just to appeal to you, once you report what you covered today, make follow-ups 3 months later, 6 months later. For some of the issues, critical and important issues that are raised, the raised in Zambia, alternative mining, Indaba, and steps, they will excite us for hours for days. And they just fall through the cracks and we forget about it. Next year, we meet, we're talking about the same thing. So I appeal to you because you are very powerful in terms of reaching and setting the direction in terms of how citizens are thinking about issues. Maximize your influence, and can you continue asking us questions after this, today's press briefing and tomorrow's exam. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, colleagues, and indeed thank you to the media. Just to reiterate, so the conversations actually begin today and will continue for the next 2 days. Civil society is co-hosting with the Ministry of Mines tomorrow and Wednesday the Zambia Automated Mine Indaba, in brackets policy dialogue, which will be discussing some of these issues further and trying to find solutions and recommendations to some of the issues that we are currently facing in the mining sector. So colleagues from the media, you are invited to attend. In terms of announcements for logistics, please do see myself or my colleague Sandy, but also would encourage you to register. In terms of logistic wise, verifying if you registered on the attendance list that were going around. And then last but not least is to invite you for refreshments, which will be served at the back. So right behind there is a table with refreshments. When we close, we can start with the high table, and then others could follow. I know we didn't start with a prayer, but as we are ending the day, could I ask for a volunteer to pray for us? Before I volunteer someone, quickly, anyone feeling spiritual after the discussion? I see that hand. Thank you, sister. Kindly give us a closing prayer. Thank you. I call this media engagement to a close. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're the one.